But investigators say it was this man, 27-year-old Nicholas Nesdal, a diesel mechanic from North Dakota.
He was very careful about saying, obviously, not his information on where he was from or anything like that, just that he was a 15, 16-year-old boy. And he would just troll these internet sites and get a hold of these victims and bring them into the Snapchat and ask requests for child pornography.
Peters Township Detective Edward Walker is working with Homeland Security on this case. We warn you, the details are disturbing. Police say the 13-year-old victim didn't just send naked photos and videos of herself, but they say Nesdal convinced her to sexually assault a child on video and send him that as well.
He actually instructed the juvenile to act out on her 6-year-old friend. And it's taxing, and it's images you can't unsee.
Homeland Security searched his North Dakota cell phone and found he was using a recording app to save all of the photos and videos, so the victim never got a screenshot notification. Detective Walker urges parents to talk to your kids about this and check their phones daily.
Snapchat, their thing is, after you do the photos or the videos, they disappear. Well, and in this particular case, and other cases, there's actually apps that you can have on your phone that record what's going on your phone. So Snapchat, it does get deleted, but these apps record what's on there, so they don't actually ever get deleted.
Detectives say Nesdal had at least 20 folders of child pornography on his cell phone.
Are there more victims out there from this guy?
Absolutely, yes. It's not just one. They do this all the time, and being at Snapchats worldwide, they get victims from all over the place.
The suspect is
with chronic tics have another mental, behavioral, or developmental disorder. Experts say parents can seek out a specialist as well as encourage kids to do physical activities such as sports and yoga that involve their mind and body working together.
Someone tells us that the window is blurred, subject to unseen distortions and subtle manipulations.
Mr. Obama gave a similar speech earlier this month at the University of Chicago.
Steel plant. Well, today, President Putin accused Ukrainian leaders of refusing to allow their soldiers to surrender. Our correspondent, Catherine Bira-Hunga, is in southern Ukraine.
Haunting, apocalyptic scenes in Mariupol. Russia has bombarded this city into near submission. Once home to about 500,000 people, thousands are believed to have been killed. Emergency workers from Russia are filmed here retrieving the dead. Moscow has repeatedly denied that its troops are responsible for the mass killings of civilians in Ukraine. But Mariupol's mayor says some of the worst war crimes have been committed there.
They killed 20,000 people. They did it on purpose. This is what I think. They intentionally prevented people from leaving Mariupol. They set this genocide up by closing the city down and using land artillery and airstrikes first, and then the warships that arrived later.
But Russian forces have been accused of hiding civilian bodies in mass graves. These satellite images show them appearing over the course of a month. The civilians have been buried in the village of Manhush, outside Mariupol, the southern city which has been besieged and encircled by Russian forces for weeks, seen here in red. The last Ukrainian troops in the city are holed up inside the Azovstal steelworks on Mariupol's coast. 1,000 civilians are still said to be in this sprawling industrial complex. On this missing persons wall, most of the faces and names that you can see are people from Mariupol. And now with the ongoing blockade and with communications cut off, it's almost a miracle for people to get out. Katerina, Valentina and Nadezhda escaped Mariupol together on Thursday. Just a handful of people who made it through with a humanitarian convoy. A friendship born out of the horrors of this war.
People are risking their lives.
Is lower than all but one commander-in-chief since the 1950s. Donald Trump, who only garnered 39.1% favorability then. Among the biggest of the issues dragging down Biden's approval, the counter withdrawal from Afghanistan last year, near record inflation, continued COVID-19 surges, and an influx of migrants at the southern border. Speaking of migrants, the Biden administration said Friday it has begun phasing out the use of a pandemic-related rule that allows migrants to be expelled without an opportunity to seek asylum. Migrants have been expelled more than 1.8 million times under the rule called Title 42, which was invoked by the Trump administration in March 2020 to prevent the spread of COVID-19. It's set to expire May 23rd amid pressure from advocates that say the U.S. has been shirking its responsibility to asylum seekers. 22 states and Texas are currently fighting in court to preserve the policy, but in recent weeks, U.S. authorities have already begun processing more single adults from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador under migration laws, which include a right to seek asylum. Officials said applying non-health-related migration rules will help prepare for expiration. A judge could rule at any time that the policy must stay in place, at least temporarily, as challengers point to fears of a possible new influx of migrants because of the expiration. Newsnet's Frank McCaffrey now has an exclusive with Border Patrol on how they plan to handle the situation should it play out.
Hidalgo, Texas is a border town filled with small businesses, flea markets, and a number of people who don't talk openly about the immigration crisis. ¿Es inmigración un problema aquí? No. But towns like this will be dealing with what's projected as a massive
is lifted next month.
Arizona's governor issued a disaster declaration as the tunnel fire rages across parts of Flagstaff. The governor said the declaration will free up much needed aid to people impacted by the massive wildfire. The tunnel fire has consumed more than 21,000 acres of land, prompting the evacuation of more than 2,000 people.
Sometimes we get 5, 6, 7-day wind events, and that's what we're seeing here. Unfortunately, it was pretty devastating to the community that it burned through.
More than 300 firefighters are on the scene battling the wildfire. 24 buildings are now destroyed, and several highways in the area are currently closed. Firefighters say they are making progress cutting containment lines around the fire, but it's not clear when evacuees will be able to return to their homes.
Well, there are mounting problem. All Solvers Caucus offered its endorsement.
The Biden administration's official policy, whatever President Biden says, is that we should force toddlers to wear masks on airplanes, but we should throw open our southern border to 250,000 illegal aliens every single month.
The president
was able to step in. This happened yesterday around 11 in the morning near the Kroger by the Pond City Market. The suspect now is in the Fulton County Jail tonight. A father charged in the accidental shooting death of his son remains in jail tonight. And while he didn't pull the trigger, police say he could have done more to prevent the death. Molly Oak was in the courtroom this morning and has details on the special conditions the judge is allowing.
Bond is denied for Deontay Patterson, the man charged in the shooting death of his 6-year-old son, even though police say he didn't pull the trigger. Patterson is facing second-degree murder charges. Authorities say his 8-year-old son accidentally shot and killed his younger brother. It happened earlier this month at the family's home in Stone Mountain. Police say they charged Patterson because he left his gun in a place where his sons could get to it. Today, the judge denied bond. She says for a couple of reasons, including Patterson is a danger to the community and likely to commit a felony.
There is nothing that I can say or do that is going to bring your son back. But what I can do is, because we are all human, is allow you to have some final times with him.
While the judge did deny bond, she is allowing Patterson to attend his son's funeral, which the family is hoping will be set for tomorrow. He will be under the sheriff's custody. In DeKalb County, Molly Oak, 11 Alive News.
2 people were shot while trying to stop criminals from breaking into their car on the 4th floor of this parking garage here behind me. And investigators say that those criminals were actually riding scooters throughout this parking garage as they were breaking into those cars this afternoon.
We are going to have to stand in a family's living room tonight and let a mother know that their son is lost in reference to an incident this heinous.
This parking garage attached to Auburn Glen Apartments on Boulevard was closed off for about 4 hours Friday afternoon. Here on the 4th floor, 2 innocent people shot and 1 of them killed.
Both of these victims were not doing anything wrong at all. They came outside. They were trying to intercede in some individuals breaking into their car.
And that's when Atlanta police say those thieves opened fire, shooting and killing a 31-year-old man and wounding a 29-year-old woman.
The information we've been able to receive is there were individuals inside of the parking deck. They were on bird scooters traveling through the parking deck. They were breaking into multiple vehicles inside of the parking deck.
The apartment complex is located near Fitzgerald Street. Someone called police to the parking garage around 4:30.
I definitely saw police. I saw the caution tape. From what I did see, a lot of broken glass. I saw like a shoe. I saw different, things sporadically around. For the most part, we just kind of went straight forward and tried to get into the apartment.
Diamond New Church often.
The deputy recognized Tucker, and he knew he was a convicted felon and had previously led deputies on a high-speed chase. Documents say deputies tried to get Tucker out of the car. He refused and reached for a gun. They used a taser to get him into custody. Well, UGA's quarterback.
Green Gucci tracksuit worth thousands of dollars.
It was partially embarrassing.
And I got my hands on the restaurant's dress code. It says in part, sweatpants and athletic attire are not allowed. It goes on to say, although we accept and encourage your unique style, we appreciate your consideration by embracing the timeless elegance our restaurant concept celebrates.
We never like upsetting people with a dress code.
Martin Thies manages the restaurant. In addition to the incident involving Grady, I also asked him about a similar situation last year. That's when a waiter here denied basketball legend Dominique Wilkins service because he was wearing a tracksuit. Martin says any decision to deny service is solely based on the dress code and not race. He says all staff at the restaurant receive sensitivity training.
Acceptance and diversity.
This weekend, former Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms tweeted that she was denied service at the Capitol Grill restaurant at Perimeter Mall because she was wearing leggings. So in light of that incident, I asked Grady if restaurants should do away with dress codes.
I don't think it should go away, but I think consistency is the most important thing. Don't tell me that I can't do this, and you got, other people, that's enjoying dinner, doing the same thing.
Now the manager here
were asked to shelter in place for a short time. One witness described hearing the gunshots.
We continued to go down once the gunshots stopped. But then we proceeded onto the Van Ness and the gunshots continued, like automatic, just so many gunshots. Everyone once again stopped, the entire street stopped. And then we started to go again, gunshots continued. So many gunshots continued.
Right now, there is no motive for the shooting.
Definitely, there's a drug in those cookies. No. Jim says there's coca leaves in them. What? Coca leaves. Coca leaves?
Oh. That must be the secret ingredient.
Right.
That means it's going to ruin me. I will not be able to sell my cookies anymore.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, I cannot do it. My dream is gone. Oh no, Miss Emmett. I don't believe it.
What's happening, Latka?
I don't know what's happening to you.